What is up YouTube? KM888 here, and today I am going to do a video about siding and my side deck. I'm going to try and explain cards that I'm taking out, certain matchups, stuff like that. No clue how to start this off because I think siding is something very personal and it's one of the hardest things to do in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because of the fact that every locals, every regional, different players will be there, and the metagame is always different. Like, if you're siding on a regional is totally different than when you're siding on at a YCS. Like, at regionals, you're going to have an even wider variety of decks that are going to be playing than on a YCS, because people are actually going to try and top there because it's better. It's just like it has a better name, so people will try more. So the better decks will be more represented there. But at this time, like, the meta is a huge variety, so that's always a good thing. So yeah, I'm going to go over my side deck first, completely. And then I'm going to pick the cards up one by one, and I'm gonna go tell you why I'm playing them. And after that, I'm going to try and do a little recap of some of the meta decks. I'm probably going to miss a couple, and what I'll be siding against those. So yeah, first things first, I am siding the Tought, triple sphere mode. I'll put them on screen so you can all see them. So we have triple sphere mode. At the moment now, I'm testing out three fantastical dragon Phantazmays. I think the card is like, it's really good, and it's just fun to use, and I'm definitely going to watch out to how it's going to be doing on a competitive level. Double Book of Eclipse, triple Denko, and triple Red Reboot. So this is my side deck at the moment. It could always change up, and I'm like, it all depends, regional, YCS, going from there, as I said. But for now, this feels like a really good side deck for me. I'm gonna explain why. First things first, I have the outer entity Tought, which is going to come in the deck when I'm going first. I don't care against what deck, it's just gonna come in when I'm going first. Reason is, people do side things like Kaijus against the Kali-Yuga combo to stop your target from being ranked up. But if you have this and the Kali-Yuga in your extra deck, I already have the Time Thief, so that's not a problem. You can just do the standard combo, and you can end with both the Time Thief as well as the Odd Eyes Raging. And because you have both, the opponent won't be able to Kaiju both, so you can still do your combo and go into Tought if you need it. So yeah, that way you lock them out of a turn either way. So I think at least siding the Tought is really important. I feel that when I'm going first in game one, I don't need it because I always try and go into the Kali-Yuga combo. Kali-Yuga is far superior in my opinion. And basically I think it's a great idea to side the Tought just because of the fact that if they Kaiju the Raging Dragon, you still have your target for the Tought. So I think Tought's always great. Next up, the sphere modes. Of course, Thunder Dragon is the most prominent option, I guess. And Guard Dragon Crusadia. Like, any deck that's playing Guard Dragons, you can sphere mode them pretty easily. They'll always end on a Soryuja, at least the one of the dragons they summon from their extra deck, and then anything else. Like, they definitely are going to make something else, and having the sphere modes just cleans out their board. I've also seen Crusadia decks who end on Barkion and Beast, just because they can make Beast fairly standard in their combo. That's not one of the hardest part, and the Guard Dragons can actually summon Barkion, so they can just go Barkion Beast to also stop things like Infinite Impermanence, Evenly Matched, and at that point the Beast subs the rest. So sphere mode just runs over everything. I'm gonna talk about the Eclipse first. First and foremost, also against Thunder Dragon, I've had someone suggesting Source of Concealing Light against me. I don't feel Source of Concealing Light is that important, just because if they have the Titan, they can just pop the Source of Concealing Light and your plays aren't gonna come through. Sure, this can be ashed, but they also have to hard draw the ash. There isn't a real way to get that to your hand, so it's just better. Do they have it when I have this? So that's at least that. They always make the Titan, and Titan can stop Source of Concealing Light, but they can't stop this. So I feel this is better. Next to that, it also stops the Azathoth combo from other decks. Like if you see at what the Orcus deck can do, Lunalight when they go first, so you just let them go first, and then you have this to stop their Azathoth play, just in case. You also have Denkos, you have other stuff, but it just adds on to the pile of cards you can have. And that's good. You need at least 5, I think, to stop that combo, so yeah. What happens is, in the draw phase or in the standby phase, you can already activate this, and then their target is going to go face down, and then they can't use their PK rank up magic anymore, so you'll win because of that. So yeah, this card's just busted, it's awesome. But I cut it for the third Phantazmay. I'm gonna go over that in a couple of seconds, so yeah. Triple Denko, triple reboot. I don't think it's a surprise. It's one of the most standard side deck options for Pendulums. Denko is just shits on so many things. It's crazy. People are starting to main deck this card because of the PK engine being so prominent, but side decking is just alright. Like in Pendulum, you don't have the option to main deck it. I feel. I think it's really good inside. Triple red reboot for back row decks. Paleo Altergeist mostly, but I also side it in when I expect things like Artifact Sanctum, what's next, like things like Summon Limit being sided in. A lot of decks actually side deck cards, especially for going first, and you want to see red reboot like almost against in any matchup, just because they have things that's just like the Crusadia deck. They side Artifact Sanctums, and if they spring a Sanctum on you and they summon the what's that, the Scythe, you can play a little bit, but you're going to get wrecked because of that. So yeah, this is just what you need at that point. So yeah. People think these cards are really great against Subterrors. I've been told by a friend of mine, Yuri, that Subterror doesn't care about these. As long as they have their monster is the most important thing, because they need it to flip your stuff down, and yeah, that's more important to them. Not all Subterror players also play a lot of back row, so these aren't going to be useful at all times, but in general you can side them in. And then the one I want to talk about in this part of the video is the Fantastical Dragon Phantazmay. It's awesome against Sky Striker because they always go into their link plays, and then they can't target again with Widow Anchor, so your plays are actually safe. Sure, it conflicts a little bit, like with the Dark Worm from the graveyard, the Curtain Raiser, but if you have this and you actually gain a little mulligan from your hand. Like you get to draw cards and you get to put them back in your deck, some from your hand, so you can put back the worst cards from your hand. You're always going to have the cards you need. Either the side deck cards, like you can draw out your Denko, which is sick, and else you'll just have your combo and you can go ham from there. So I think these Fantastical Dragons are amazing. It's also level 7. If you need to go into Absolute with it, it's definitely an option, so yeah. Now for siding, I'm just gonna pick the most prominent decks, I guess, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna do against it. Like when I go first, I always side in the Outer Entity Azathoth. It doesn't matter against which deck, but depending on which deck you're playing against, you can just take out anything from your extra deck. It doesn't really matter. If you're putting in the Azathoth, never get out the Time Redoer, because you'll need a Redoer for your combo. Don't don't take these out, you'll need it. Vortex also too important. Your links are important. Like, what can you take out is, the best thing to take out is probably either the Dweller. Like, the Dweller doesn't do things against some decks, so if you see it's a deck that isn't relying on its graveyard at all, just take out the Dweller. Like, that's an easy one. And else you could just take out like either the Dark Rebellion, maybe the Savage Dragon, or a Borreload Dragon, because while Borreload is really good, if you're not playing against Thunder Dragons, like this is just in there for Thunder Dragons in my eyes. So yeah, of course you can use it sometimes, but I feel that Borreload is only used against Thunder Dragons. So yeah. Then for the other cards, these are, like, you can side in like Red Reboots going first as well, because of trying to stop Infinite Impermanence or other traps like later on. Like against Altergeist, I might actually Sidedeck these in going first. But in general, what you're trying to take out, let's see. I am running double Duelist Alliance. Duelist Alliance doesn't do much against a lot of decks because you're already having 5, so you can just live on 3 Pendulum Calls, got to the 2 Duelist Alliances already. You're going second, so you have a more optimal hand to begin with anyways. So let's do this a bit like here. So first things first, you have 2 Duelist Alliances you can take out. What else can you take out if need be? I really like the Mythical Beast engine, so sometimes I take out 1 Cerberus because I know I'm going to have a 6 card, but in this build I just like it too. Which is, like, against Thunder Dragons, sometimes I try to take out 1, but if I don't need to take it out, I won't. Let's see, what do we have? The second Gate Zero. The second Gate Zero is something you definitely can take out if you need it. You still have another one, and you can just put it back in the deck as well with the Phantazmay if you draw it, so it's not all that terrible at all. What else? Let's see. Cards that can easily be taken out. Curtain Raiser, you can take out 1 or 2. What is definitely an option. So let's see, and here's the second one. I feel Curtain Raiser is one of the worst starters that you have, and it doesn't facilitate anything else. So if you have to take out monsters, like, take out these. They aren't that important. You're trying to break a board anyway, so it's not that important to go for the Electromite play before your Pendulum Summon, because you can just do your things after a Pendulum Summon as well, so yeah. Of course, if you do things before the Pendulum Summon, it is kind of decent-ish, because if you try to break a board, that could be a way. This one, the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. While I do feel that it's necessary for the combo if you're going first, it isn't that big of a deal when you're going second at all. So you can take out this as well as the Cloak. Because the Cloak as well, it doesn't really do anything at all. And just having the boots and the rank up magic in your deck is something, well, if you have that, it's already fine. So these 2 are definitely cards that can come out. And then we are close to the end. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest taking out the Destrudo, even though it's a hefty cost to pay. You can easily make another Link summon or another Synchro summon because of him, so it is something to think about, because it pays a lot of life points. Like when you're close into time, like if there's like only 8 minutes on the clock, then I do suggest taking out the Destrudo, but only because there are only 8 minutes on the clock. So I'm going to put it here for a second, just so you know that it is something you can side out, but you're not. It's only for time purposes. So yeah. Then what do we have? Let's check it out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 cards that we can side out in any, like in any matchup. going second. For these, you don't really have to think that you can side them out. They are options. So, and if you have 7 cards to side out, you can easily side in 7 cards. We only have 14 to pick from for the main deck. And to be honest, like you never have to side more than 7 anyways, because it is a Pendulum deck, and you, like in 42 cards, 7 is doable. If you're running 40, 6. If you're running 50 plus, you have to side 9. But then you have more cards to work with, so you can side out more cards as well. I feel that since it's a 42 card deck, which I'm running, 7 is indeed the maximum, and that would be D7. So if I really feel like I'm coming close to time, I can side this out, and then I can just put in one of these back again. So yeah. Siding in is of course not a problem. Like against Sky Strikers, you can side in the Denkos, you side in the Phantazmays. Against Thunder Dragon, you side in the Sphere Boats, the Eclipses. Against Alter Geist, you have the Red Reboots, you have the Denkos. It's really not that hard. Against any danger variant, you can side in these when they go for their link plays, because you draw into your power cards and you can just blow them back. And if you feel like if they go first, you can also side in the Sphere Mode, because they try to end on a big board, so yeah. But still, that's only 6 cards. Of course, try to keep in mind that some decks, they side in very powerful traps. Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, Summon Limit, Imperial Order. I haven't seen Anti-Spell in a while, but it is an option. Red Reboot, in my eyes, is always a good option. Going first, going second, it doesn't matter. Like, you can stop like almost anything with this card. Evenly Matched, you can stop Impermanence, you can stop the Anti-Spell, the Order. You just put it down again and everything stops and is quiet for you, and you're happy because you can do your combo without any problems. I feel I've explained everything about my side deck. I hope you guys liked it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao!